Hello everyone, welcome back to Prashuta Fin School. This is the fourth season of our entire module interview preparation for accounting and US taxes and rule. In this season, we will be focusing more about how to answer confidently your self-introduction and along with that how to frame strategic answers for each and every HR interview questions. So this session would be more focused toward how to present yourself confidently in interviews. So, why self introduction matters a lot? Self introduction create the very first impression of yourself in front of a recruiter or maybe the interviewer, where he or she will be making his decision whether you are going to get selected or you are going to get rejected in the interview. In most of the cases, your first impression, which is your self introduction, help you to get selected, or it is the only reason that you got rejected in the interview. So why it matters a lot, because in your self introduction the interviewer try to test your communication skills, how confident you are regarding the role that you have applied for, and he checks the clarity you have regarding the role, let's say accounting, tax, AP or AR, whatever you have applied for that in that interview. So it evaluates how well you can structure your thoughts in an answer in a very precise way, right? So this question is not about more about your life story, but it is about how clearly you can present yourself. So we will be discussing more about how to answer the self introduction in a way that would put a very good first impression of yourself in front of a recruiter, right? So why this session is very critical: most of the candidates get rejected despite of good knowledge. You can be a academic topper of your particular academics or maybe your particular campus, but due to poor self introduction you create a very weak first impression and that get you rejected. Lack of confidence is mistaken as lack of skills. Many candidates I have seen in my career that they possess a really good technical skills, but they are not confident enough to answer it or to frame the answers in the right way in an interview, and that makes an idea in front of interviewer that you do not have skills. That is the reason you are underconfident. Then unclear role direction, as we have discussed this point again and again during this particular module, that if you are applying for an accounting role, stick to accounting role, do not mix up it with your tax and skills in the interview. And inability to explain simple things clearly, whenever a recruiter asks you any questions, your focus should be how to answer it in very simple manner with a very short sentence. So this is what you should be more focusing upon, right? So tell me about yourself. What should be an ideal answer of tell me about yourself? We'll be learning it. Why we are putting a lot of focus in tell me about yourself? Because if your tell me about yourself is not up to the mark, you will never be able to crack any interview. Most of the candidates, they prepare well for each and every aspect of technical round, for each and every aspect of other HR interview questions, but what the thing they have in their mind that okay, it is about myself, right? I can tell anything that I want to tell because I know everything about myself, but it has to be in a structured way. Use this simple three-part format to answer tell me about yourself. That will help you a lot in order to put your first impression in front of the recruiter. First, you should start with your background, your education and your current status. Then relevant skill and exposure. Exposure toward accounting, tax, Excel or tools that you have already worked on or you know them better. Then role intent, why you are applying for this specific role. So this is the format you should be following while answering tell me about yourself. First, you should start with your background, then relevant skills and exposure, then why you are applying for this particular role. And you should be able to answer all these things within just 60 to 90 seconds, and an interview will get a clear idea that okay, this candidate belongs to this background and he has this many relevant skills and he has this many relevant exposure through live projects or maybe internship or maybe full-time experience, and this is the reason why you are applying, right? So now he is clear what you are, where do you belong from, what you are bringing to the table, and what and why you should be in the team, right? So should you one of the very important thing, should you start with your name? Most candidates start with my name is XYZ. Don't your recruiter know your name? Don't he have your CV with him? Then why to add an extra sentence? Because if hundred of people are applying with us for an interview, hundred of them start saying with my name is XYZ. Why? Because they have never taken any preparation, or they have never followed any particular guide to answer the question. They only start with something that they have been doing since their schooling, or maybe since their college, when they were asked to introduce themselves. So this is not the way you should start. Interviewer already know your name from your resume, and starting with your name adds no value to your answer. So start with something that puts a very high impact to your answer. You should start with your background, as you already discussed, focus on relevance to the role, and keep the opening very professional and very confident. So this is how should you answer or start your answer about tell me about yourself. You should skip your name, then start with what matters the most. All right. Then what is the simple answer about tell me about yourself for an accounting role specific interview? You should start with I am a commerce graduate with a strong foundation in accounting, basics like AP, AR, and reconciliation. Now, this tells what you are and what you are bringing to the table. Along with that, you can add during my preparation, I focused on understanding how accounting processes works in real company rather than just theory. So it give a clear idea to the recruiter that what you are bringing to the table if you are getting hired. So you understand AP, AR, reconciliation, which are the technical knowledge you should be having, or the foundational knowledge you should be having. Along with that, you also understand how the accounting process work in real companies. Don't you think that helps a recruiter to make his decision better, rather than telling more about my father is into this profession, my mother is into this profession, I belong to this city? Don't you think this helps make a recruiter a better decision? Then followed by I am now looking for an entry level accounting role where I can apply this fundamental learn from the team and grow within the accounting domain. So after answering the entire self introduction, now recruiter have a clear idea who you are, what you bring to the table, and why you are applying for this role, and how you can be benefited, or how the entire team can be benefited by adding you to the particular team. So this is how you should be answering accounting role self introduction, right? Then let's understand a simple answer for a US tax role profile. You should be starting with I have a basic understanding of US taxation, including form like W2 1099 and form 1040. As already mentioned, this get recruiter an idea what the skills you are possessing. Then I am familiar with high level tax filing processes and the difference between individual and business taxation. So this gives a bit detailed idea that okay, you are familiar with this relevant skill sets. Then I am interested in starting my career in US tax role where I can build strong fundamental and gain practical exposure. Then this give an idea to the recruiter that why should be added to the team. So this is a simple answer. You guys can definitely add your own stuffs into this and frame your own self introduction going ahead, because never ever remember any question, try to remember an answer in the interview. Always be very generous while answering the interview questions. And if it is the case of your self introduction, it should be never felt like okay, you are memorizing and answering it. You should memorize, but you should answer in a way that okay, you know yourself better, and that is the reason why you are able to answer this question really good. Right. So what is the HR round? The Let's understand the main purpose of the HR round, HR interview or HR round. The HR round is conducted to evaluate communication and clarity of thoughts. It is never about to check how good you are into your technical skills. It is always about how good you are in your communication, and how clear you are about your thought process and what you are bringing to the team. Then your confidence and attitude. Are you a good fit to be in a team member? Because one bad hire can ruin the entire team process. So if you are enough confident, and is your attitude aligns with a role that involves working within a team. Then role alignment. Those Does your skill sets, does your career goals aligns with that aligns with the role that you've applied for, that is whether it is accounting or whether it is taxation. Then willingness to learn and adapt. Are you someone who is willing to learn and adapt? Because many of the time there are people who might not be open or enough to learn new things. They might be in a thought process that okay, I know this thing, so this is what I will be doing. So this kind of candidates often get rejected. Everyone should be in a state of mind that at any time I get a chance, I should be able to learn new things, and I have to be get adapted to new environment. This attitude will definitely, help you fit in any interview or any culture of any company's culture. Then the last is cultural and team fit. If you are able to assure the HR that okay, you understand the company culture, not even understand the company culture, but you are someone who can fit into any culture and into any team, then you can be good to go. What HR is not testing in the interview? Your deep technical knowledge. No HR will ask you deep technical knowledge. Maybe there would be some basic technical knowledge, like what do you understand about accounting, what are the golden rules in accounting, but there will be no deep technical knowledge testing in this interview. Accounting or tax calculation, no one will be asking you to compute anything or to evaluate anything into taxes or accounting. And then advanced domain expertise, whatever your expertise into in that particular domain, it will never be tested in the first screening round of any interview. It would be more focused toward your communication, your confidence, your role alignment, your willingness to learn and adapt, and how good you will be fit within the culture of the company and your particular team. I hope you guys are clear with what I'm able to make you understand. Right. So going ahead, let's understand few of the questions that you should be ready to answer during any round of interview, whether it is HR interview, technical interview, or anyone at any time. In case you are getting a call from a recruiter any time in a day, you should be ready with these few questions that will help you to build confidence while answering your questions in an interview. The first, we would go with tell me about yourself, followed by we will understand why should we hire you. This question is also really important to understand how good you are to for in order to help the company to retain you for a long term. What are your strengths and weakness? This is a very strategic question where you have to be very honest. So we will be learning how to answer this as well. Why do you choose this role, accounting or US taxation? You should be able to give a very clear answer that showcase that okay, you understand why you have applied it, not that you have randomly applied. So even we will discuss more about this. Where do you see yourself in next 2 to 3 years? Many of the people will answer I have answered that okay, I want to be in a managerial role in this organization. This is something what you should never answer to this question. How to answer it properly, we will be learning ahead going in this particular season. Are you comfortable with the process based and repetitive work? Many of the fresher will think if I say yes, I am comfortable with repetitive work, then it is nothing excitement, right? The interviewer might be finding something excitement within me. So you should answer something, no, I might not be more comfortable with repetitive work because I have leadership capabilities where I can lead a team or I can do something this, something that. This is not the way you should answer. How to answer it in the right way, we will be going learning going ahead in this particular season. So let's start with how to answer HR questions. So this is a very simple framework you should follow. First, understand the question. Understand the mindset. What do I mean by understand the question? Understand the mindset of the recruiter. What he is trying to ask you. Not the question can be what is your long term goal, but but his mindset should be are you aligned with a long term association with our company? So this is the way you should answer. You should take a pause and think before answering any question. Answer very honestly. Avoid exaggerating the answers or give memorized responses. Keep it very role aligned. Link your answer to accounting or US tax and rule. Stay brief and structured. Do not over explain anything and do not answer like you do not have a proper structure to answer the questions. Keep each and every answer within 30 to 60 seconds, and trust me, that is enough to answer any question in an interview. So let's start with tell me about yourself. You should use this three-step answer for a framework in order to answer tell me about yourself. Never start with your name. Keep it within 60 to 90 seconds. Follow this particular structure. Start with your background, then followed by skill, then role intent. Let's discuss some model answers. You can start with I am a commerce graduate with a strong foundation in accounting and basic exposure to US taxation. I have focused on understanding practical concepts like AP, AR reconciliation, and the tax filing flow rather than just theory. I am now looking for an entry level role where I can apply this fundamental, learn from real work, and grow in this domain. As we have discussed earlier, this shows your background, the skill set you have, and why you are applying for this particular role. So you can frame your own tell me about yourself using the same framework that will help you a lot in order to put your first impression in front of recruiter. Then why should we hire you? This is a most important question, and many of the recruiter ask this whether it is a technical round or whether it is an HR round. So don't say because you need a job that is the reason they should hire you, or just don't focus on learnability plus clarity, not experience, right? Align with fresher expectations. Always keep your alignment to any answer with expectations that a fresher should be having in front of interview, right? Your model answer should be, as a fresher I am not have work experience, but I have a strong conceptual clarity, a willingness to learn, and a disciplined approach to process based work. I focus on accuracy, follow instructions carefully, and I am open to feedback, which I believe is most important for any entry level roles. So this answer fits the right when someone asks why should we hire you, because you do not have a experience. So this is how you should answer. Although you do not have an experience, but you are willing to learn, you are disciplined enough to learn new things, or the company can train you in a right way. So this is how a recruiter will get an idea that okay, no problem, if you do not have an experience, you are a right fit because we can train you on the skills that we need from you. Then, what are your strengths and weakness? Even to answer this, follow this three-step answer framework. First, strength. Strength should always be relevant to the role. Do not add any strength that is not relevant to that particular role. So, whenever you are applying for any particular job, always be prepared with one strength that you should showcase, or even you can add the strength and weakness in your self introduction if needed. If you do not have a lot to share, you can add this over there. Else, don't answer until and unless you have not been asked. So relevant to the role should be your strength. Weakness should be something real. It is not like it look like unrealistic. It should be something real, but the weakness should be manageable. It should not be something that will hamper your interviews or your efforts toward getting selected in the interview. Never say I have no weaknesses, because every person has some or other weaknesses. So how should be a model answer for this question would look like? My strength is that I try to understand concepts clarity, and I'm comfortable work with structured processes. So this is a basic framework in order to give you a relevant role relevant strength answer. You can frame your strength, by taking this particular model answer into as a reference. Then what is your weakness? Earlier, you can say earlier I used to overthink my answer, but now I am focused on keeping my explanation simple and understand. So this is a way what interview think. Okay, most of the fresher, they first overthink, regarding what should they answer, how should they answer. But you are someone who have focus on keeping your explanation simple and structured. So you have learned from your mistakes is what you are showing in the interview. Then why did you choose this role, whether it is an accounting or US tax role? So intent, not randomness. It's not like you are just applying, keep applying for each and every job, and that is the reason you have applied for this. Don't mix accounting and tax and skills. Keep it very practical. So what should be your model answer for an accounting accounting interview question? Why did you choose this role? I chose accounting because I enjoy working with structured data and understanding how financial processes work in real companies. So you have applied only because you understand or you enjoy working with data set, and you understand how financial processes work in real companies. And if you are telling that you understand how processes work in real companies, you should really be knowing how process is being worked in real companies, which you have already discussed in previous previous sessions of this particular module. Then roles like APAR and reconciliation suit my interest in accuracy and process oriented work. So this is how you should be framing your answer for this particular question in an accounting interview. Coming to the US taxation interview, you can answer it likewise, like I choose US tax because it combines accounting fundamentals with compliance and process understanding. I am interested in building strong basics in US taxation and gaining hands-on exposure. So this is how you should always answer why did you choose this particular role. You should not be presenting yourself as someone who is just keep applying, or who really is looking for a job and can do any job if offered. You should be very much role specific while answering this particular question. Then where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years? Don't say manager or on site. Many people they say, okay, I have seen that in your company you provide on-site opportunities to someone who work for 3 to 4 years. So that is the reason I want to, in next 3 years, I see myself to one of the individual who have got an on-site opportunity from your company. Never show this. So learning plus stability and keep it very realistic. So your model answer can be like this. In the next 2 3 years, I see myself as a confident professional with strong fundamental in my role, handling responsibilities independently and adding value to the team. So what this showcase? You are someone who want to continuously learn for next 2 3 4 years, and you want to be a confident professional. You want to grow as an individual you know while adding something valuable to the team. So this is how you should be answering what do you see yourself in next 2 to 3 years. Not like I want to see myself as a manager, not as an individual who got an on-site opportunity. No claims like this, only realistic and uh, value adding oriented. You should be answering this question. So the next question would be, are you comfortable with process based and repetitive work? This is a trap question, obviously. Always says yes, but explain it smartly. Because if you say only yes and you are not able to explain why yes, then it can be, act in a it can act maybe it can act in a way that okay, you are not someone who want to try something new. You just want to be in a loop where you want to do a repetitive work. Or if you say no, you do not want to do a repetitive role, then most of the fresher they are being hired for some repeated roles only. So the interviewer might feel that you are not a right fit for this particular role. So always say yes, but explain it very smartly. Just start your answer with yes, I understand that entry level roles involve process based and repetitive work. I believe this phase help build accuracy, discipline, and a strong foundation, which is important for a long term growth. So while answering this, the recruiter get a clear idea that okay, you are not someone who is only focused toward a repetitive work, but you are someone who understand that to do something really good in a long-term career, you have to do repetitive work in order to learn the technicalities or to learn the process within a company. So this is how you should be answering this particular question. Let's understand few golden HR rules that students should know. HR interviews don't reject you for wrong answers. They reject you for unclear, overconfident, or unrealistic answer. So whatever questions that we have, whatever uh, model questions, model answers we have discussed in the previous slides is only toward getting you a clear idea to be very realistic, not to be over or underconfident, always to be confident, and not and always you have to be answer it in a way that you seems to be very clear with the role that you have applied for, right? So few of the common HR interview mistake candidates should avoid are memorized or scripted answers, overconfidence without clarity, giving unrealistic career goals, and mixing accounting and US tax rule. Speaking too fast or too long is also can also impact in a negative way. So, as already discussed, you should be answering your questions with very briefly, and it should not be like you are just it should not seem like you are memorizing and answering your questions. So, this is the way you should frame your questions, and this is the mistake you should be avoiding in any HR interview. So So, how to present yourself in a professional interview setup? Join interview using a laptop, not a mobile phone. Most of the interviews nowadays it happens virtually, so it is always advisable to join using a laptop but not a mobile phone. Wear formals or official casual attire. Even if it is a virtual interview, never ever join through wearing a t-shirt or maybe something that is not formal. Okay, if you are a fresher, a formal shirt with a tie would always be helpful, because if you are presenting yourself well, you are almost clearing 40 to 50% of your interview through the way you are presenting, because the interviewer feel that okay, you have put some effort for to present yourself, so you might be interested for this role. Always use earphones or a headset for clear audio. Then still sit in a quiet and well light environment. Many times while taking interviews of races, I have seen people roaming around the terrace or maybe in a car. If you have an interview, cancel your trip, or if your trip is really important that you cannot miss, then ask or request the recruiter to reschedule your interview, which I should suggest not to do, because rescheduling your interview is an opportunity for someone else to get selected for the role. So always try to be at a place which is quiet and have a good light. There it is all about how to prepare well for an HR interview, how to answer questions like tell me about yourself, why should we hire you, in a very structured way. So we will end this entire module with a capstone project that will make you interview ready. So this project is more about interview readiness, and this will help you to present yourself confidently in interviews. So we will be discussing more about how what you have to do in this project, how to submit this project in the next session. Till then, thank you, take care, and have a great day.